Hello, everyone. Welcome to my Mother's Medicinal. And today I'm very excited to welcome Dr. Jaisri Lambert with us. Hello. Namaste.
So happy to be here now.
I'm very excited to be discussing the very basics of Ayurveda. And I'm very excited to that you have joined us today on our channel to discuss. So I'm really feeling very lucky and blessed.
Likewise.
So, what is Ayurveda?
Ayurveda is a Sanskrit term which comes from two important roots. Ayu meaning life. Ayu, there's all vowels, Ayu, no consonants. Veda meaning knowledge. So systematized knowledge is a science. So it's the science of all of life. So you can imagine it is inclusive, absolutely inclusive.
And what is the origin of Ayurveda?
So origin of Ayurveda, according to the medical scriptures, is in the creation before humanity evolved, and that the universe was generated in such a way that the medicines were prepared, and then the teachings were prepared. All this is delivered and described in the introduction to the Charaka Samhita, one of the main medical scriptures of Ayurveda. Mm-hmm. And so it also talks about the various deities that were generated by God to deliver the Ayurveda, the knowledge of longevity, to the humanity. So then later, after the deity level, came the incarnations. So the incarnations are described, who received which parts of Ayurveda and how did the evolution of Ayurveda occur. So it talks about the various early, teachers of Ayurveda. And later, of course, after some thousands of years with writing, the scriptures became, noted down. So then they became written records some 3,000 to 5,000 years ago.
Wow. So in Ayurveda, the viewpoint, right? So viewpoint of structure and function of the body. So what are the viewpoints of?
Yeah, very beautiful, profound question. The vehicle of the human body is for a spiritual journey. That is to say, the soul is launched in this journey of self-realization, God realization, free will. And as a human then is composed of the same 5 elements as the external universe, that is to say, space, air, fire, water, and earth. So these Panchamahabhutas, 5 great constructing elements, are the constituents of not only the creation as a whole, but each and every individual and unique person whose genetic blueprint is absolutely individualized, and no two people are alike according to Ayurveda. However, life is common to all, and therefore we can study the effect of life from birth to death and beyond through the literature of Ayurveda.
Beautifully. And what is the basic philosophy of health, disease, and treatment in Ayurveda?
So the basic concept is balance of these elements, and then all functions well. The spiritual journey can continue. But if there is imbalance, symptoms, then we have to take a pause from everything else and pay attention to the disease process so that it can be retracted and the soul put back on its spiritual journey of self-realization.
And how is diagnosis done in Ayurveda?
Diagnosis is an 8-fold phenomenon with not just observation, the darshana, observing what one can see and measure with the eyes through a microscope or, through the direct perception of vision. Then, of course, the auditory factors, the shabda, the voice. Voice is a diagnostic tool because there's a particular tone in suffering and pain. And we can gain a great deal of knowledge through the intonation, the tone, the location, the description of the discomfort and the disturbance, so that language becomes a big important factor as well. The understanding, can we understand at a glance? Then, of course, the smell of a disease. Every improper condition has a particular odor, where balance may smell sweet, strong, like a forest. But we do find all six flavors in the forest as well. See, all six scents are there in the forest at different times of the day. Morning is sweeter, different biochemistries happen at different times of day, same as with humans. And we also are diagnosing through touch, of course, sparsha, the palpation. Is there any unusual contour or density? So through all five senses, each of the five senses has a complete diagnostic system. For example, with sparsha, the touch, we can also diagnose through the touch of the particular marma points, the doorways.
Beautifully. So with this COVID situation that, hopefully we're almost coming out of it, but, of course, immunity, right? So naturally they talk about vitamin C, and they're talking about, of course, vitamin D, some specific vitamins. So in Ayurvedic herbs, right? So what are some things people can still take to protect their immunity or strengthen their immunity according to Ayurveda?
Yeah, this is a big topic nowadays. So it's the entire lifestyle, all the thoughts, feelings, emotions, food decisions, lifestyle decisions. All these are effects that are causes that bring effects. And so either there's a happiness effect or not. So depending on what goes wrong, then we have to be very specific and precise in language. The language of Ayurveda is very specific and precise about what is wrong, the diagnostic science, the physiology, the doshic science, pulse reading. These are very, very precise observations. Therefore, we can give a very precise, individualized program to the person and see that their unique balance comes back in time.
Okay. So it's basically inclusive of everything. We can't just say one thing or just.
Quite true, because body, mind, and consciousness is a very complex matter. Body, mind, and consciousness is the very fundamental of the creation. So indeed, there are a lot of discussions possible at the level of the whole person, the level of the cellular activity, at the level of the cosmic activity. So all these have parallels according to Ayurveda. So what we see, the patterns and disturbance of health, vata disturbances, which will be nervous system, perhaps sensory systems, then connective tissue issues as well, even endocrine issues related to the nervous systems. Then we can have pitta disturbances as well related to fiery factor, maybe rashes, outbreaks, fevers, etc., hot conditions. Then kapha, which is more cold conditions. These are more depression, lethargy, overweight, water retention, tumors, thicknesses. So in all that, we can be very specific about the causative factors in that person, and therefore help that person find their own balance again.
Thank you. Thank you so much for joining us today, Jaisri ji.
Oh, my great pleasure.
Yeah, and we will be back with such more videos into different series, and also Jaisri does the consultations here she's in Surrey, BC, and I'll just link her website below down, and she also has online courses, and if anyone's interested, please click below, and if you have any questions, please leave a comment below. Thank you so much.